I would like my audience to kindly respond to this little question. Do that come as a surprise to you that a day will come when the Miyetti Allah will dare the Eastern governors? Do that comes to you as a surprise that a day like this will come when the Miyetti Allah Association will dare the entire Eastern governors, giving them an ultimatum of 7 days to release all the Fulanis under their custody, to release all the Fulanis and their cattle. 7 days ultimatum coming from Miyetti Allah to the southeastern governors. Does that come as a surprise? Please, I want to know your own opinion or position via the comment section. Wow, this is an interesting development. Honestly, interesting in the sense that these are chief security of different states. Now, a Miyetti Allah that is just a sociocultural organization that projects the interests of an average Fulani man, or being described as one of the deadliest terror cells or group by international bodies. Now, giving the southeastern governors an ultimatum, an order, a directive to release the entire Fulanis under their custody. Otherwise, they will unleash mayhem. This is the same strategy deployed by the same Miyetti Allah that have become a voice to reckon with, an influential voice. Now the question is, when did Miyetti Allah eventually become so powerful that they could be speaking with such audacity to sitting governors? Of course, the former governor of Benue State, in the person of Sam Autumn, eventually saw her while he was a sitting governor. An attempt was made to his life. They told him, "We are coming for you," and eventually they did. His convoy was ambushed and eventually narrowly escaped. Now, the same Miyetti Allah, when the president or the leader of the Miyetti Allah group association was arrested by the DSS and charged for treasoning and terrorism, eventually the government of Nigeria has no option but to do what? To withdraw or to squash the case. After the same Miyetti Allah organization gave a staunch warning to Tinubu's administration that the entire Nigeria will boil down if after some days they gave the same ultimatum. And eventually, suddenly, we saw the Attorney General of the Federation and the Chief of Justice, Fabemi, came to make public pronouncement that the charges against Badejo, the Miyetti Allah leader, has been dismissed, have been discharged. They discontinued the trial upon such threats. If the president can consider the position of the Miyetti Allah to be a threat to Nigeria, to his administration, then what powers does the governors of the Eastern region have to dare them? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Are you getting the picture more clearly? The governor could not take for granted. I mean, the president, the sitting president cannot dare to challenge Miyetti Allah position because they made it very clear that their militia armed group or wing are losing their patience, that they are not happy with the continued detention of their leader under DSS custody. These are Miyetti Allah that are being considered as people who migrated to Nigeria. They are not Abu origin. These are the same people under the watch of Buhari were given 100 billion. An association was given 100 billion by a sitting president, and many other ones that may not be disclosed to the public. You can see how formidable they are. For their words to have threatened their words, their orders could be adhered by a sitting president, the Grand Commander of the Armed Forces, and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Has no other option than to dismiss the charges against Badejo, the Miyetti Allah leader. And eventually he was released without any stringent condition attached. Badejo was released without condition attached to his release. Just as the Miyetti Allah said, withdraw this case, squash this case, and do not attach any condition to the release of our leader. If you want peace in this country, if you want stability, if you don't want our militia groups to unleash mayhem, if you want to enjoy your own administration, you must comply. They were not given any consideration. They are saying it without mentioning words that this is what is going to happen. And eventually, the government, I was very shocked that Tinubu's administration could withdraw the count charges and let him go without any stringent or condition attached to his release. But here comes Mazen Nnamdi Kanu of Igbo extraction. We have the so-called Ohaneze. We have the so-called Igbo World Congress. They have reduced themselves to robbers. What they could only do, they can't even back. What they could only do is to beg for Tinubu to give pardon to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Is to beg for pardon. They have reduced themselves to toothless bulldog, to people or association that is inconsequential. They are not being valued or recognized. They have no weight. They have been tested and found wanting. Who is Ohaneze Ndigbo today to give an ultimatum to a sitting president until it will comply it? Who is the World Igbo Congress today? Who is that World Igbo Congress that will give ultimatum to the current sitting president of Nigeria and they will adhere it? Did they consider that as a force to reckon with? No. But Miyetti Allah is being revered, is being considered as a force, a movement, a Fulani movement or Caliphate movement that is a force to reckon with. They all spoke in solidarity. All the governors of the Fulani extraction, the senators, they were shouting, release him, release him. They were not even mindful of their diction. Release him or we scatter. Release him or we unleash mayhem. Release him or they were given, wow. And that sent a serious wave down the spines of the president. He understood that these people weren't joking. They were not mincing words because they were not ready to betray the cause of their people or their interests. They have an interest to protect. And that they continue to project. The same Miyetti Allah that says, you don't need to call for any meeting. Cede your land to the Fulanese, then there will be peace. You can imagine such level of audacity, being so audacious to challenge the indigenous people, the owners of the land, that you don't, if you are talking of peace, you cannot have peace except you cede your land. You give your land to Fulanese. That is another, an ultimatum. They are not calling for negotiation or wars. If you don't, we are coming with a sword, with bullets. Of course, we respond or answer to you with our bullets and ammunitions. We have our militias well trained and prepared for the eventuality. Do we have any Igbo association or movement today that can speak and everywhere will be shaken? Gone are those days when Ohaneze speaks. I was told they could not experience that before the war. When Ohaneze give their verdict, they stands. But what happens down the line? They have been watered. They have been watered. They have been considered as staff. They have seen that there's nothing. They don't have a base. They are mere political opportunists seeking for crumbs that may fall from the table of anybody concerned, and they will grab it. They will be struggling for it. So as such, you will not have your voice because already you have sold your birthright. Unlike the Miyetti Allah group, when they say something, they mean it, and they go for it. Now, coming back to our discussion, as I said, are you surprised that a time like this will come when the Miyetti Allah will give the entire southeastern governors an order of 7 days, within the next 7 days, to release every Fulani man under their custody? You know, of recent, with the escalation of insecurity and the rest of them, the governor of Abia State is trying to apply cautions and restrict the movement of cattle from one point to the other, which eventually some Fulanis, has been reported, violated such order, and eventually they were accosted by the security operatives or whatever, possibly detained, that could have led to this ultimatum being given. That unless Oti, being the governor of Abia State, does not want escalations between the herders farmers, he now ordered, take your cattle to your own region, breed those cattle, find pasture for them. You have a large expanse of land. You have comparative advantage. You have grasses that easily grow within the region. Feed your cattle, breed them, rear them, and when they are of marketable value, you transport them down to the point of sale. And after you have made your sales, you retire back and continue your operations of rearing of cattle, movement of cattle from one point to the other, destroying people's farms, destroying people's farm that they spended so much resources to plant, to cultivate. Of course, do not make any sense. Rather resort to economic waste. Every responsible or sensible humanity must understand this. You have no right to use your own private business to destroy other people's business. And you still claim to be right. It is nonsensical. It's out of place. It's a private business. Don't use your own business to destroy the indigenous people's farm. You invade the farmlands, you kill people, you rape, you do all sorts of atrocities in the name of moving from one point to the other, and you have been equipped with AK-47. You know what that means? It's a threat to the host communities. Now, in the interest of peace, take your cattle to your region. The most recent, yes, of course, the Kano, then Danguje was the governor of Kano State, the governor of Niger State, has extended the hand of fellowship that they have the required expanse of land to accommodate the Fulanis or the herders. Why not go there and rear your cattle, build your ranches, have an expanse of land that will enable you rear your cattle and have the best economic yields, and then move them to the point of sale or the market, the target market. Is that too difficult to understand? So that there will not be clash between the herders and the farmers. He was trying to broker peace, to find a solution, a lasting solution to these escalations. So you have no right or have no any legal right or moral right to demand for a land you never procured, that the people should cede their land for you because you want to rear your cattle, want to have a grazing space. What happens to the expanse of lands? The North claim they have the highest landmark. Yes, quite agree. Now, why are they running away from this advantage? It's a point of advantage. Yes, they have advantage over other regions. So why are they still interested in the littoral? Within the eastern region happens to be the least in terms of land, comparative advantage. And yes, you are still interested. When the governor said, no, I don't want this in my state, I don't want any escalations. Let the law-abiding citizens remain safe and calm. If this would distort the peace, the public peace of my state, I will not condone that. So is that too difficult to understand? Or you are trying to be mischievous? It is very important. Can any Igbo man go to Sokoto, go to Niger, go to Meduguri, and demand for a land to be ceded to him or her? Is it possible that you must give me land, otherwise you will not have peace. How will they feel? How will they? Of course, the person will be chopped off. The leg will be chopped off the next minute. Who dares you? How dare you to come and demand for land? That land must be ceded to you by fire, by force. Where will such happen? Well, this is happening. Well, it's a welcome development because the same governors who have sold out themselves, their conscience, who have betrayed the cause of their people, today are receiving the heat. Yes, because when you have made yourself so cheap, of course, as our people say, onye mo onwe ya ka oke, busu achọ ya ọsọ. That is just what is happening. And it is just the new morning for them. I would say good morning for them. When the Eastern Security Network was formed to protect the forest beds of the Eastern region, the same governors fought them. And today, they dislodged the same people that should have provided security to the Eastern region. Today, the Fulanis has taken over the forest bed. And the reason why they are giving ultimatum, because they have been already been surrounded by the militia groups ready to unleash mayhem. You have not seen the worst. Just keep watching as we bring you updates regarding this development after the 7 days ultimatum. Let's have your own take. Thanks for watching.